fortune. Gotta walk through a fire for what's important. The warrior's blood through your veins is coursing. Kill for hire, soldier of fortune. The whole world's watching every move. Take your shot, don't act a fool. All you got and all you ever need is one bullet in the chamber. Ready to take your game, but ain't nobody wanna save you. So what you gonna do? Ain't nobody gonna save you. So what you gonna do? Do or die, you're a mercenary. One of a kind, that's your burden to carry. Go and make a proud, do what's necessary. Oh no, do or die, you're a mercenary. Now the whole world's watching every move. Take your shot, don't act the fool. All you gotta take your game, boy. Ain't nobody gonna save you. So what you gonna do? One bullet in the chamber. Breathe easy, take your game, boy. Ain't nobody gonna save you. So what you gonna do? Now the whole world's watching every move. Still your heart so much to prove.
Time for Mystic Racing League. Welcome everyone, I'm Ellis Thomas, joined by Chris Smith in the Slingshot Racing Media booth, and tonight we are bringing you race number 13 of the Fall Creek Plumbing National Series, coming to you live from the banks of the mighty Mississippi and the legendary Gateway. Nestled just outside downtown St. Louis in Madison, Illinois, World Wide Technology Raceway has long been a proving ground for speed, skill, and nerves of steel. While the current oval configuration was established back in the mid-90s, the site's motorsports roots trace back even further, born from a wave of racing enthusiasm that surged through the Midwest back in the late 1960s. Originally known as Gateway International Raceway, the track was carved out of reclaimed industrial land next to a landfill and rail yard. Hardly glamorous terrain, but a testament to turning grit into glory. Local leaders and racing investors saw potential where others just saw pavement and weeds, and over time they built a facility that could attract big league racing. The layout itself is a unique 1.25-mile oval, a hybrid beast with asymmetrical corners, tight entry points, and only 11 degrees of banking. Turn 1 sharper and more demanding than Turn 3, giving a distinct rhythm that feels more like a road course than a traditional oval. Over the decades, the facility has hosted everything from NASCAR's Truck Series to the NTT IndyCar Series, and even NHRA drag racing on the record-setting quarter-mile straight that borders the oval. When the Cup Series returned here back in 2022, it marked not just a new chapter, but a full-circle moment for a city and a track that has always worn its racing heritage proudly. With recent renovations and a growing fan base in Gateway, World Wide Technology Raceway isn't just a stop on the schedule, it's a statement. Midwestern racing is alive and well. Chris, track was designed to take advantage of the natural terrain. There's a drag strip. These drivers are going to be going fast tonight. They're not going to be going quite as fast as the 300 plus miles an hour that those top fuel dragsters go down that drag strip. What are they going to have to do if they're going to hang on to these cars tonight? And what's going to be maybe the most technical challenge on an oval they have all season long? Lots of great racing. I think we're in store for a great show and a treat tonight, folks. But before we get to that action, it's time for everyone's favorite pre-race tradition, the playing of the national anthem. Everyone, rise and remove your caps if able. We'll be back right on the other end of the anthem. All right, everyone, back here live in St. Louis, getting ready for 130 laps here around Gateway. It's going to be a great race. But before we get there, it is time to set the race up with the stories to follow. But even before that, Chris, championship action is heating up. And the front of the field hasn't changed in the past couple of weeks. Last week, 2 weeks ago, Evan Janik had a command performance at Road America, leading essentially from wire to wire, stretching his points lead out over Adam Holston and Christian Barnes in second and third place. But deeper in the field, right around the cutoff line, this thing is truly heating up with several drivers still in contention to get into the playoffs that are going to start later this season. We're essentially win and you're into the top 10. There's several spots still left that drivers can claim with a win. We could be looking at a night with a new winner, first-time winner this season that locks themselves into the playoffs. Are these racers going to be keeping that in mind as they're racing side by side in the tight confines tonight at Gateway, Chris?
Yeah, you're definitely aware of your championship rivals, the people that you are close to in the point standings, and that is something that you keep in mind with how you race them and maybe your mentality, how you attack each set of corners as you get closer and closer to them on the track. So, yeah, it's something that we're going to keep our eyes on all night and for the rest of this regular season.
And that kind of leads us into 4 stories that we're going to be keeping an eye on. And it feels like every week, Chris, we're talking about tire management. That is really what separates a lot of the drivers that might all be fast on just sheer speed. But you can really see over the course of a run, over the course of a race, the pros, the drivers who can truly, do magic on those old tires and conserve them throughout a run. So tire management, especially at a track like Gateway with some tight turns and I think we're going to be looking at the right rears or the rear tires being spots that we could be concerned about tonight for several of these drivers who are maybe using that throttle a little too early off the corners.
Yeah, it seems like these guys are a little bit free on throttle, maybe free on exit as well. So, yeah, that's going to enable that right rear to generate a lot more heat than you possibly want to. So, yeah, we're going to keep an eye on that all night long tonight, and these drivers have to keep that right rear underneath them all night.
Chris, we mentioned it. It is technically demanding. You cannot go on autopilot mode because both ends of the track are very much different. We talked about that just a few moments ago. You've got one corner tighter than the others, and we might very well see a green flag pit stop tonight. You never know. And pit road starts at the beginning of turn 3. Drivers are going to have to woe it down real quick to get onto that access lane.
Yeah, it's definitely you're definitely going outside of the ordinary when you come here to Gateway. And, one end of the track is very, very tight, and I think that we'll see drivers up the track a little bit on that end, maybe a little bit higher, and then maybe down towards the curbing, down towards the bottom in 3 and 4. So, extremely technical racetrack, Ellis.
Going to be something we're keeping an eye on, and with that technicality, passing is going to be difficult. Drivers are really going to have to get aggressive through the corners tonight if they're going to make these passes. And to complicate matters and compound things, we've been off for a week. After Road America, we had an off week. These drivers worked hard making those right-hand turns, and we needed a bit of a break. So these drivers find themselves maybe 2 weeks removed from racing, and now we're going to one of the most difficult and technically demanding tracks on the circuit. It's going to be interesting to see how these drivers approach each other after not having raced with each other for nearly 2 weeks. I think we might see some beating and banging early, but I think the drivers that are going to be up front at the end are the ones who keep themselves out of trouble over the course of these 130 laps. So with all that being said, qualifying is over, Chris, and on your poll, probably no surprise if you've been keeping up with the series, Evan Janik ran a hot lap in qualifying, just edging out Jacob Cochran, who's going to be starting on the outside pole in the number 84. Chris, I was watching Evan during practice, and he didn't put up the fastest lap until the last 2 minutes, really showing his hand there at the end. So Evan Janik pulling out all the stops here in qualifying. It's going to be an important starting spot. Jacob Cochran, good to see him back. Got that Talladega win a few weeks back, starting second in the 84. And then, Chris, it's Adam Holston, second place in championship points, is going to be starting from the inside of row number 2 in third position tonight. And, Chris, how about Brad Nelson and that number 33? Best qualifying of the effort of the season for Brad. I'm looking forward to seeing what that 33 can do once we get this race cooking tonight.
Absolutely. Great qualifying run for him, and, great performance out of him, definitely, for sure. I'm going to be curious to see him out here on the track. A great qualifying run also for the guy on the inside of row 3, Ellis, Gavin Henson. We've seen Gavin show flashes of speed all season, so we'll see if he can navigate this technically challenging track right here. And Derek Jewett on his outside in that number 45 machine. Derek's had a lot of speed lately, too, looking to get that first win of the season.
And Derek finished second a couple of weeks ago in the Xfinity, the Fall Creek Plumbing Series, Chris. And he finished second in the truck race last night for Mystic Racing League. So we're going to be keeping an eye on number 45. David Moyer, another great qualifying effort turned in by that driver, the number 47. Finished outside the top 15 last outing at Road America, looking to do a little bit better this week. I think he's got a good shot at that. And Chris, Alec Pollock, I think the 92 is the dark horse tonight. We're going to be looking at his heart rate over the course of the evening, but I've got an eye on that number 92. He was fast in practice, maybe not as good of a qualifying start as he had hoped for, but keep an eye on that 92. He's been fast. Alan Zukoff in the 91 also showed some speed, starting 9th. Reggie Kime starting 10th in the Mystery Machine number 9. Christian Barnes, 3rd in points right now. He's going to be coming from 11th if he's going to get the job done tonight. Zach White going to be starting 12th in that 77. We've seen Zach have some problems on the track over the past couple of weeks. Spade of bad luck. He's hoping to get back on track tonight. It's going to come from 12th. Brett Wren starting 13th tonight. Gino Volanti on his birthday is going to be starting 14th in that number 35. Jared Knopsider going to be starting 15th in the 82. Saw him have a couple bouts with 180-degree spins in practice, but I think he was in the majority that were having some trouble in practice, Chris, and that number 82, keep an eye on him to make better on that as the race goes on. Caleb Hunt, not a great qualifying effort, but I expect to see some speed out of that 78 coming from 16th tonight. Stephen Gill is going to be starting 17th. Douglas Wasaki had an impressive showing over at Road America a couple weeks ago. He's coming from the outside of row number 9 with Joshua Gillen and Brandon Willard starting 19th and 20th, respectively, Chris. This is going to be a great race. I think we're in store for some great racing here at Gateway. It's got all the makings of maybe the best race of the season. I feel like it's set up to be something special. If you're in the pit box, Chris, and you're calling the race for the driver as the crew chief, what are you telling your driver right now if they're starting where Gavin Henson is in 5th position here as the lights are down, or the lights are on, the sun's down, and we're getting ready to go green?
I'm telling them eyes peeled, because opening lap here at Gateway, there's usually some shenanigans going on. There's normally some trouble going on right here, especially as they work their way down into turns 1 and 2, especially with the cars being as loose as they seem to be tonight. I'm going to have my eyes peeled, and I'm definitely going to be easy on that throttle on this opening lap.
Easy on the throttle. That is the words of wisdom from the crew chiefs tonight, and the spotters telling the drivers, just take it easy. We got 130 laps. Sun's down, pace car peels down. Drivers headed down the front straightaway towards the grandstands. Here in St. Louis, we are green flag racing for the first time tonight. Race number 13 of the Fall Creek Plumbing Series is underway. It's going to be Janik in that 811 car getting a jump in the baby blue number 71. 84, Jacob Cochran loses a little bit of ground. Couple cars up the track. Brad Nelson struggling just a little bit. That's a battle for 4th position. Gavin Henson trying to work his way by the inside down into turn number 3.
Side by side back here, Ellis, and then that's where the battle is around the 3rd, 4th spot. Adam Holson, Brad Nelson, Gavin Henson. Oh, Henson loose.
Oh, one car loose. 39's loose. The 84 loose in front of him. The 39 collects the wall. Chris further back. We're under caution. There's a collision on the exit of turn number 2. That was the 82 and the 01. It was Knopsider and Gill. Chris, we talked about Knopsider having a little bit of trouble in practice. It might have reared its head there on lap 1.
Yeah, we had a couple of different accidents going on right there. We'll go back and see if we can see what happened back here with Knopsider. Since we had the cameras on Henson, looks like Gino Volanti inside of Jared Knopsider here. Oh, Knopsider gets loose right down the hill in front of Stephen Gill. Stephen Gill doing everything he can to stay off of him, but unfortunately Gill with a lot of damage to that 01 machine.
The bad wrench machine, I think probably bad, not the way that Stephen Gill was hoping tonight. Bad luck strikes for that 01 on lap number 1. It didn't change the running order up the top. It's still Evan Janik and Jacob Cochran. Chris, I don't think we're going to see any drivers take the bait here for pit stop this early on. I know everyone's got a quick repair, so those drivers who collected the wall, including Henson and a couple drivers in the back, Knopsider and Gill, they're going to have the opportunity to repair this thing and get it back going. No harm, no foul. Chris, up at the front, top three, Janik, Cochran, and Holston. Brad Nelson, despite kind of a sketchy start there, retains the 4th position with Derek Jewett climbing up to 5th.
Yeah, definitely some movement up through the field right there. We're actually going to ride on board right here with Stephen Gill to show you what he saw. There's Jared Knopsnyder up on the high side right there, turns 3 and 4. That 82 gets loose. Stephen Gill does a nice job. Unfortunately, just can't avoid Knopsnyder. But like you said, Ellis, the good news is that he does have that fast repair.
You see that hood popping up on that car as Stephen Gill drives down the front straightaway. Right now, drivers under caution, pacing the field around St. Louis is Evan Janik. He's your points leader, Chris. Just 2 weeks ago, I think I've seen one of the most impressive masterclasses in road racing I've seen as a broadcaster, and that was Janik. Didn't really put a foot wrong all night. The only foot he put wrong was right after he got done talking to us over the radio under some green flag racing and had a little bit of a scare, but was able to hold on to it. If you're Janik, what kind of mindset do you have here? How much are you willing to let guys pass you, knowing that it's difficult to pass here? Are you kind of reticent to relinquish that position, knowing that you might not get back around?
Yeah, Ellis, most of the time, a lot of tracks, I'm going to let that driver go because, I want to try to pace myself and look after my tires. But, yeah, this is a track right here where I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive as far as, not letting people go by, because track position is just critical here. It is difficult to complete a pass. You can get side by side with a driver, but actually completing the pass is rather difficult with the way that these drivers have to attack these corners and the launches they get on exit. So yeah, to answer your question, I'm going to fight pretty hard to maintain my track position.
And speaking of fighting pretty hard, we just saw drivers take the choose. And for the first time, one of the first times this season, our leader's taken the choose on the outside. I think that is not something that would surprise either one of us based on kind of what we've talked about with drivers, knowing that the outside line, you kind of want to be on top. You want to have the momentum off the corner. And Evan Janik definitely taking advantage of that choose rule. Just looking through the field, Brad Nelson's going to pick up a couple spots on that choose rule, and Adam Holston was the first car to go down to the bottom. Chris, going to give it his best go here. One thing we're going to be keeping an eye on, if you're at home, watch for these drivers as they dart down to the inside. They're going to likely push up. The question is, how much do they push up, and how much room does the car to their right give them? We're going to be keeping an eye on that on this first restart of the night after a caution put us under yellow for lap number 1. It's going to be Janik and Holston, 71 and the 8, who are going to lead us to the restart. Pace car peels off. Sun continues to go down in Gateway. We're getting ready to hit lap number 6. Janik's the control car on this restart. He's waiting for that blue Geico zone. There it is. He mashes the throttle. Cochran lifts just a little bit. Cochran's got to deal with Derek Jewett back there. 45, a heaping helping of Jewett into the back of Jacob Cochran. He gives him a little bit of space. Cochran a little bit wide up the track there. He's now doing battle with Holston, who's relinquished second place now there on the inside. You can see, Chris, just how much momentum that outside brings as Jewett climbs the banking down into turn number 3.
Adam Holston right here trying to roll that bottom lane down there. It's a couple of different approaches to the corners here. 1 and 2, I think you're up a little. Oh, is one car in the wall back there?
Kime into the wall, off the bumper of Brett Wynn. Kime had to check up. We're going to be under green flag still. We'll see if they throw the caution. They're going to be likely to want these drivers to get it settled out. Kime trying to get it turned around on the front straightaway. He's got plenty of time to do it. I'm sure the race director's watching where the rest of the field is. They head down into turn 3. We're still going. The good news is that's not going to put us under caution. The bad news for Reggie Kime, it's going to put him at the back with a big amount of damage there, but Evan Janik still leads, Chris, in the 84. Cochran might have picked up a couple car links amidst all that chaos in the back. What happened with Reggie Kime? Let's see if we can find out.
Yeah, we'll go back and see if we can find out right here. Yeah, unfortunately, Douglas Wasaki did get some damage in that deal. Yeah, we just missed it a little bit right here, so yeah, we'll go back right here. That's the Scooby-Doo machine, the mystery machine right there on the outside. Oh, looks like some contact from Brett Wynn possibly put him into the inside wall. Not sure if there was a checkup, a little loose condition that maybe necessitated that, but yeah, unfortunately, yeah, he was trying to back up, and looks like Douglas Sasaki might have gotten some damage in that deal also.
Well, if you have tuned in, you've seen some great racing so far, and we appreciate you. If you're watching in the YouTube chat right now, whether that's Jeff Fisher, Kit, Connor, we appreciate y'all all tuning in. We're going to be doing trivia here. We're giving away a Kevin Harvick diecast via trivia tonight here. Questions about St. Louis and in the Gateway area that we're going to be testing y'all's knowledge with. So stick around. We're going to do some of that on the next caution. I'm assuming we might have a green flag run. We'll scoot it in there no matter what. But stick around for that diecast trivia. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a thing. It just makes sure that you get live racing every single week. We'll talk about some more exciting things about that later on. But right now, watching some good battles on the track. Holston trying to hold off Derek Jewett. That 45 car has been fast. We're watching a couple other cars right now. Yeah, there's back bumper of Holston as we look on board just how close Derek Jewett is to the back bumper. If you're Holston, that's not a view you necessarily want to see, but as he maybe picks up a car length or so headed down the front straightaway, a bit more comfortable as he heads down into turn one. You can see the exhaust as these drivers lift off the throttle into that tight turn number one.
Yeah, we're kind of watching these drivers here on corner entry to turn one. I want to say that it seems like a lot of the fast guys are wanting to put their left side tires right on that seam about a lane up, and then maybe, do a late apex down, almost towards the exit of turn two. I think that's what we're going to see all night. We've seen a few drivers make contact in the wall.
Yeah. Cochran, second place now into the wall. That was a heavy contact. I think we're going to have to keep an eye on that 84. I saw him push up pretty good down there in turn number 1 and 2. We'll see if that struggle maybe continues, just how much damage might have been done to the right side of that number 84 of Jacob Cochran. A few weeks fresh off of a win at Talladega. Trying to get another one tonight. He's got the speed to do so, locking himself into the playoffs. I think he's probably going to be one that we have to keep an eye on in that championship conversation. Sitting 8th in points right now, even having only run 7 races. That is how strong his performance has been. And we're talking about that number 84, 8th place average finish for Cochran, Chris. Pretty impressive stuff for driver number 84.
Yeah, very
impressive. Great battle as we're watching behind it with Holston. Battle for the lead, though. Actually, no, sorry. That was a lap car. Got excited. Same color car almost as Evan Janik, but that is the Scooby Mystery Machine. You saw Kime involved in an earlier caution on lap 1. A not caution on lap 6 or 7. He has got it going again, but going a lap down to the leader pretty early here. This is going to create an interesting dynamic between Adam Holston and all the way through 6th, 7th position, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you talk about these positions right here. This is where the action is hot and heavy right now. Alex Pollock right here under attack from Christian Barnes. Barnes made a nice little move right here through the field. I think he is our biggest mover so far, up 5 positions from his starting spot. And he's putting a lot of pressure right here on Alex Pollock.
Yeah, that 27 is fast. Third in points championship standings right now, Chris, and he's showing why as he continues to climb through the field. Simple paint scheme, but anything but simple when it comes to the skill he's been showing on the track this season. Barnes having a really good run, just looking at some of the numbers for Barnes over the course of the season.
And Ellis, as you do that,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I do want to bring the attention to our listeners right here and our viewers. Christian Barnes sounds like he is shifting down in turns 1 and 2, which is something that I thought might be a possibility tonight. I don't think every driver's going to do it, but it sounds like Barnes, actually he's not going to, yeah, he is maybe doing it on this end. I know he did it the lap before, so. And
he's toying with us. He's toying with us.
He did it that time for sure. He did it that time. And as the lap time slows down, Ellis, I think it's going to be something that you're going to see more and more out of more of these drivers.
I think you're absolutely right. Trying to get more rotation into those wheels, and Christian Barnes doing it early. Average finish, Chris, 9th place this season. He's got 8 top 10s, 6 top 5s, sitting 3rd in the points right now, trying to chase down Adam Holston and Evan Janik, making a good argument for his championship run this season. He's continuing that speed, that dominance in terms of consistency tonight. Talking about Christian Barnes and that number 27. We're on lap number 17 of 130 as we watch Derek Jewett try to hold off Adam Holston along with Christian Barnes and Alex Pollock. And it's been a great race so far. Your top 5 as they run. It's Evan Janik, Jacob Cochran of that 84. Derek Jewett, Chris, keep an eye on that car. Up 3 spots. He finished second in the truck race last night. He's shown speed in the past month or so. I think that win is coming for the number 45. Adam Holston sits in 4th, along with Christian Barnes back in 5th position. Those are your top 5 as they run. Chris, we're looking for stages tonight. We got stage 1 ending in about 10 laps on lap number 30. I should say about 12 laps on lap number 30. Points will be awarded. Top 5 drivers looking to get some championship points for free tonight on the track at the end of stage number 1. Just about 10 laps. You think we're going to see drivers maybe make a pit stop on that first stage caution?
Yeah, I would be surprised if they did not hit Ellis, especially with the 5 tire sets in the pits. So yeah, I absolutely expect drivers to take 4 tires. When we do have that stage break, and then again at lap 70 when we have another stage break. So yeah, we'll be keeping our eyes on that. It's about a 65% fuel tank fill tonight on these cars. So they can't quite go as long as like the standard Xfinity car, but that's just done to spice things up just a little bit.
It is extra spicy tonight. One car, I heard a little bit of contact with the wall. Looking through the field, Chris, at other close battles. Alex Pollock right now, good little battle going on with Adam Holston. Up just a little bit further on the track from Brad Nelson. You see there that Dr. Pepper machine of Pollock. We're following the heart rate of Alex tonight, and he's been sitting pretty around 92, but he's looking like he's getting a little bit anxious to make this pass as they come down the front straightaway. Loses a little bit. Chris, was that a little bit of contact with the wall there from Pollock in that number 92?
Might have been right there. I just want to verify, does Alex Pollock have it tonight, or does Brett Wren have it tonight?
Brett Wren, you're right.
Okay.
Brett Wren,
Gotcha.
My bad.
That's okay. Just wanted to verify that I had it right. But yeah, Alex Pollock looking real good out here. Making a lot of ground up right here on Adam Holston. Holston's slipping back a little bit right here. You know, Christian Barnes got around Pollock. Now Barnes has gotten around Holston. And we saw Jewett get his way around Holston as well. So Adam Holston struggling a little bit on speed right now, but maybe he's thinking the long game tonight, Ellis.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Holston's lap times really throughout the entire evening, Chris. And based on where he qualified, he's running about 3/10 off what the fastest lap of the race is. And I have to wonder, that's not quite the speed he had in practice. I think he's got a little bit left in that tank that he might be saving for later in this run. Right now, just trying to hold on to that top 5 position with about 9 laps left. There goes Pollock in the 92 to the inside. He's going to have to hang it left to avoid the left side of that number 8 of Holston. Second in points, doing battle with Pollock here. Pollock still has a nose under him. Down they go. They shoot down into turn 1. Pollock has the spot. He'll slide up in front of Adam Holston. Here we go. Is this going to be a crossover? Holston's going to try to make it happen. 92 of Pollock slams the door. That is classic racing right here at Gateway. That's how you have to get it done. And Pollock made it look easy there, Chris, in that number 92 as they head down into turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, great pass right there by Alex Pollock. It didn't sound like he was shifting in 1 and 2. I might have missed it if he did, but you know, not shifting kind of enables him to be able to be a little bit more aggressive with the throttle, Ellis.
Hey, speaking of aggressive, back in 12th position, around 11th and 12th, Chris. Oh, Brett Wren into the wall right in front of Caleb Hunt along with 82 in the 01. This is a battle for the 11th and 12th position. You have to go a little bit further back to find Josh Gillen in the 13th position, but this is a lot of cars, and here goes Hunt underneath Wren, who's a little squirrely, looking like he's lost a little bit of speed after that contact with the wall down the front straightaway. That's going to propel Hunt into the 11th position, up 5 spots on the night. Chris Hunt is on the march early, and just looking at the numbers for Caleb Hunt, He's not a great qualifier. 13th average qualifying position over the course of the season, and that kind of bared out tonight as he started 16th, but his average finish is closer to 11th, so he typically gains spots over the course of the race, and that's what we're seeing right now. And he's trying to do his best to catch Alex Pollock and Derek Jewett because that's who he's doing closest battle with in the championship standings right now, and he's set sail on the rest of those cars as Brett Wren might be struggling with the handling after that contact with the wall here on lap number 26. Just 5 laps away from the end, the conclusion of stage number 1. Hey, in the chat, we got everyone chiming in. We got some 8 fans rooting for Holston. Connor Lyons, how you doing tonight, Connor? We hope everything's going well for you. Jeffrey Fisher commenting on the nice move for Alex Pollock there. Connor, what's your beef with Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar? In the chat, Chris, they're talking smack about Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. I know they're throwing some shade at Alex Pollock in that 92. I don't find anything wrong. I think it's a fine beverage.
Yeah, I don't think there's really anything wrong with it. In fact, I think that this is, we'll have to zoom in a little bit. Yeah, this is Dr. Pepper Cherry Zero Sugar. So you add that cherry to it as well. That's kind of hard to beat.
Oh.
It's kind of hard to slander that Dr. Pepper Cherry Zero.
Speaking of hard to beat right now, Chris, battle for third position heating up. It's Barnes and Jewett. It's Barnes in that black number 27 on the inside of Jewett in that number 45. And this has been ongoing, Chris. Couple laps it's been happening. They crossed the line. 3 laps left, about 2.5, I should say, in this stage. This is a battle for third and fourth. This is the difference between a point or 2 in the championship standings, which could make a huge difference as we inch closer to the end of the regular season and the beginning of the playoffs. Looks like Barnes loses about a car length almost into the back bumper of Jewett. Maybe Jewett had lifted on throttle a little bit more than Barnes expected. You can see Barnes pull up right to the rear bumper in that Domino's number 27. They're going to be coming to lap number 29 here. Just about a lap and a half left. Does Barnes have anything in the tank to get by Derek Jewett, who's been sitting inside that top 5 much of the evening after a strong qualifying effort? Barnes has held a pretty wheel all night. How desperate is he to get that extra championship point? We're going to see here how much he presses the issue. You can see a little bit of a different entry, later entry for the 27, Chris. What is that going to do for him on exit?
Yeah, it just helps to be able to get a little bit more momentum possibly on corner exit right there. As Barnes, he's really working him over right here, trying to get that spot, but working lap 30 now.
I think we're going to see the caution come out here in just about a half a lap. It's when Evan Janik gets to the line. These guys are a little bit further back. Janik getting ready to cross the line here in just a few moments. Does Christian Barnes send it down into turn number 3? Does he try to get the run off? You can see a much later entry for Barnes. How much will that help him off the corner? Does he have enough space and time to get it done? And Chris, I think the answer on that is going to be no, at least this time by. We'll wait for the top 5 to cross the line. It's going to end with Alex Pollock, and I think the yellow is going to be out any moment. There it is. We're under caution for the conclusion of stage number 1. Janik, Cochran, Jewett, Barnes, and Pollock. That is your top 5. They will take home stage points here at Gateway. We're going to be setting this up, Chris, for I think what's going to be some pretty pivotal pit stops here. And I would imagine every driver is going to be coming for tires as we watch Janik claim the stage win in that 71. Janik's going to have some decisions to make, and we'll see who follows him down pit road here. They're going to pick up the pace car, I believe, as they head through the corner down onto the backstretch.
Yeah, no, it's just make note of the fact that Christian Barnes seemed to have the long run speed right there in the drivers in the top 5, but Evan Janik was just so dominant for the entirety of the run right there. These drivers, they're going to have to work their work cut out with it for them if they're going to try to contend with him tonight.
And here we go. They're going to be contending with pit road right now. Tight confines here at Gateway. Top 20 drivers getting ready to make their way down for their first pit stop of the night. Janik's going to have that first pit stall after claiming the pole. That's going to be a slight advantage. Look at him try to time it just right as drivers pump that gas to just get every little ounce of speed down pit road. We're going to be keeping an eye on the times these drivers spend in their pit box and also where they come out. Big moments here for the drivers, and a lot of this, Chris, is out of their control, but what they can control is not oversliding into their pit stop and setting up at a good angle for their pit crew to get the fastest stop available. You can see Janik times it perfectly, and everyone else looks like they make their way to their stall without any trouble. Right side of the car is being lifted up for those tire changers to get 4 fresh Goodyear rubber tires on. And Chris, I think we had some maybe, I don't know if we had 2 tire calls, but Janik, Cochran, I believe Barnes might have beat Jewett off of pit road. We're going to have to check to see, but fast pit stop, Chris, by Evan Janik gets him off first.
I think that these drivers are screaming loose tonight, and I would be shocked tonight if anybody decided to take 2 tires, just because of that. Caleb Hunt
and I don't see,
it looks like he stayed out to lead a lap, but he's coming to pit road this time.
I don't see any indication based on these pit stop times that there was a 2-tire. I think I saw Christian Barnes coming from the back. Barnes started back in the 11th spot, so he had a little bit further back of a stall. And hey, let's. I'm curious if we might be able to get Jacob Cochran here. See if we can pull him in just for a second. If I can find him really quickly.
They're making the choose right now, by the way.
Oh, they are making the choose. Never mind. I thought we had 2 laps left. We'll get him next time. I'm sure there will be a next time. Maybe not. Chris, that was a almost 30-lap green flag run here. Some of the best racing I think we've seen all season. And remember, we talked about tonight really had all the makings of a great race. And I think we've seen it bear fruit tonight as the drivers do take the choose rule. Evan Janik, your pole sitter and leader for pretty much the first 34 laps of the race, does choose the outside. Not unexpected there. Christian Barnes is going to be the first car on the inside. And Chris, we saw Christian Barnes have a lot of speed towards the end of that run. He's going to be pinned here down on the inside, and I think that maybe is going to hamper his ability to make that late arc and late entry into the corner that we saw be so effective there at the final 10 to 15 laps of that stage. But right now, Janik is going to be the control car. Once he enters into the Geico restart, that blue painted zone, he's the one who gets to hit that throttle first to decide when the field goes. Will he go early or will he go late? We're about to find out, folks. Restart number 2 coming up. Janik goes early. The 71 jumps out to a big lead. Meanwhile, Barnes has a bumper full of Pollock back for 3rd and 4th position, while Jacob Cochran works that outside. Will Barnes slide up a little bit? The answer is yes. The 84 saw it. He gave way as well. One car sideways. That's Joshua Gillen down the backstretch. Can he get it under control? He wrangles that 10 car after a little bit of contact off of turn 2. We are still green flag racing, and up in the front it continues to be single file. Holston will duck into place to make that 100% true about the top 10. Whoa, Holston into the wall off of turn number 4. How much damage is done to the 2nd place points runners? Number 8 machine, Chris. We'll find out over the next couple of laps, but a lot happening on that restart.
Yeah, we're going to see if we can figure out what actually happened to the 10 car right here of Joshua. Oh, we got 1 car around, Ellis. Scratch that. That's the 24 of Brett Wren. He's loose in the exact same spot that Joshua Gillen was.
Spot. You're absolutely right. But, Chris, the good news is with all that grass down on the backstretch, it's going to allow us to continue green flag racing. And I wonder if the same thing that happened to Gillen might have happened to Brett Wren there off of turn number 2.
Might very well have right here as we got a battle going on for 2nd spot. Would love to go back and look at that, but man, the action on track is just too intense right now to do that.
Cochran sliding, Pollock loose off of turn 2. Another car gets the wall off of turn 2 in about 9th or 10th position, Chris. Big battle here we're watching between Derek Jewett up front in the 3rd position or 4th position, doing his best to catch up to Cochran and Christian Barnes, who's sitting 2nd and 3rd position right now. Chris, a couple of battles going on. 3-car forays happening down into turn number 1. The first one right now looks to be a little bit more decided. Jewett sideways. Can he hold it tight? He can. He collects the wall. 1 car also off the track a little bit further back. That looks to be the number
82.
82 of Knopsider, who got sideways almost, Chris. We've seen that now. 4 cars fall victim to turn 2, and that's exactly what, when I was talking to these drivers in pre-race, that was the biggest fear. They were talking about how important throttle management and throttle control was, and I think we've seen it rear its ugly head. Is the battle right now is between Holston and Pollock for 4th position. Chris, it's everywhere this is happening. Wild racing under the lights here at Gateway as we watch what happened to Jewett.
Yeah, Jewett and Knopsnyder both getting loose right there. Both of them continuing on right there. And if you are Derek Jewett, you do have that fast repair in your back pocket. Don't panic. It's still really early.
Plenty of time, lots of drivers still in the game here. We talked in pre-race about just how tight of a spread it was when it came to speeds that we've seen over the course of practice, and I think that is continuing to be a trend in the early portion of this race. Driver lap time separated, top 10, less than about 7/8 tenths of a second off of each other. So tight field, and I think we're seeing the fruit of that with this tight racing as we watch Gavin Henson try to work his way around Alex Pollock. Henson having a great season, great qualifying effort for Henson, starting in the top 5. Only lost 1 spot from that, but good-looking Sundrop paint scheme. Dale Jr. throwback he's got going on right there, looks like.
Yeah, and Gavin's doing a real nice job right here. You see him take a little bit later apex right there, trying to get some momentum down this back straightaway. Let's go see if he can maybe make up some ground right here in turns 3 and 4 on Alex Pollock. Pollock drives in a lot deeper, and look how much further up the hill he is because of that. Going to take the run down the hill, though, and that's going to make it hard for Henson to possibly be able to gain some momentum on him right here. But this track, Ellis, it is all about discipline. You got to remain disciplined at all times, hitting your marks, trying to maximize that speed.
And Chris, just looking through the season stats for Gavin Henson, that's one thing I'm noticing. It's an up and down, a peak and a crest, all the math terms for a line graph that goes up and down and up and down and up and down. And Chris, guess where all those ups, what types of tracks those happen to be? It correlates with, I think, the performance we're seeing tonight at Gateway. If you had to guess, a little trivia before the real trivia, what type of track do you think those are?
I'm going to guess on shorter ovals.
I think you're absolutely right. Top 10s at Bristol, at Martinsville. He had a top 5 going at Rockingham before some late race trouble. But that 39, he's showing that discipline that you've talked about being so critical for short track performance. And while Gateway has some long lap times, it's only 1.25 miles, and it races in some ways like a short track. And I think it's no coincidence that Henson is having a strong run tonight in that number 39, trying to chase down Holston and Pollock. Pollock loose off the corner there. We've seen it all night long. It's going to open the door for Henson to try to get his way back into the top 5 after losing that spot just a little bit earlier on pit road. Sends Pollock up the track just a little bit. And Chris, a little bit further behind, right behind them, David Moyer. Shout out to that number 47. We've seen David have a season of ups and downs, and there's been some downs of lately, but he walked away with a 15th at Road America, trying to get back on track. Chris, he finished 7th at Martinsville, and I think, again, we're seeing the short track skills kind of transfer over. One car on the wall, I think that might have been Henson there in front of them, but Moyer having a great run in that number 47, backing up that Martinsville finish from earlier in the season.
Yeah, and, keeping with the theme of, soda on the track tonight, David Moyer right here with the Mountain Dew Code Red.
I think might be better than the Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar Cherry edition. Code Red takes me back a little bit nostalgia there. Connor still trashing Cherry Dr. Pepper in the chat. Couple comments, by the way. Cherry Pepsi. Jeffrey Fisher says Cherry Pepsi is good. Dr. Pepper Cherry, not so good. He added a sick emoji to that. Lots of haters on the Dr. Pepper tonight. Alex Pollock not going to be happy with that as he's got David Moyer chasing him down right now. Let us know in the chat, folks, who you are here rooting for, who you think's going to win tonight, what driver are you supporting. Hit that thumbs up button. Like this stream as well. It's going to get your favorite drivers in front of more eyeballs and get them a bigger audience. We cannot thank you enough for being here tonight. Also, make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so. Good little battle going on here, Chris. Caleb Hunt now working on Derek Jewett after Jewett's early troubles. Headed down the front straightaway across the line. Derek Jewett has definitely struggled a little bit. His lap times have fallen off. We've seen him lose a good bit, now running about a second off the pace as Caleb Hunt tries to work his way by.
That left front, let's see if we can get a good shot of it as it comes by. That left front is towed inward. So that car, you can definitely see it. The tire is towed inward on that number 45 machine. Look how it's pointed towards the wall, the outside retaining wall. That thing cannot be driving well at all. I'm surprised, honestly, that Derek's going as fast as he is.
And it's, let me tell you, those tires are going to be hurting and screaming at the end of this run. Stage number 2 finishes at lap 70. That's just in about 22 laps. Great little battle going on here between Derek Jewett and Caleb Hunt. This is a battle for the 11th, or I should say the 10th position. And boy, you can see that closing rate, Chris, as the 45 struggles in the center of the corner out. Caleb Hunt's able to really creep up to the back of that back bumper. Keep an eye on that. That might be a friction point here in a couple of laps as Hunt gets a little bit impatient, maybe trying to work his way by the 45 of Jewett, who's had a strong run tonight.
Yeah, we'll see if Derek can just nurse that thing to the end of this stage right here and then get that thing on pit road and get that fast repair and get that thing fixed and see if he can get back in the thick of the battle right here. Speaking of battles on the track, Ellis, right here, Gavin Henson putting a little bit more pressure, just, inching up closer and closer to the back bumper of Adam Holston. These drivers seem like they're getting a little bit higher in 1 and 2, maybe gaining a little bit more confidence to get up there, possibly use that momentum on the exit of turn 2 right there.
Yeah. I think they're trying to also work with those tires a little bit as his handling starts to go away. We're about 15 laps, I should say, into this run. So drivers going to be starting to feel tire wear a little bit. Watching Adam Holston on board, trying to hold off Gavin Henson as they head down into turn number 1. And you can see how high Henson goes, but look at the way he dives it down a little bit sooner than Holston. And look how much momentum he's able to carry off the corner. He might try to turn that into a pass down into turn 1. The 39 of Henson shows his nose underneath Adam Holston. He sends it down into 1. He's going to have to try to slide in front of him. Holston squeezes down and we avoid catastrophe. Holston trying to pull the crossover here at Gateway. We've seen this a couple times tonight. Holston's doing it well right now, trying to channel that into a pass back for 4th position. Not going to have the speed, at least it doesn't appear so, as the 39 is going to add the momentum off the corner. You saw Adam Holston have to lift out of the throttle there to avoid contact off the corner. Textbook pass at Gateway for Gavin Henson. Set it up perfectly over the series of a couple corners, Chris. That's what you want to see if you're on top of that pit box.
Absolutely, yeah. Great discipline right there. Way to be patient on the throttle right there. And a great line through turns 1 and 2 to be able to use the momentum down the backstretch to complete that pass.
Speaking of completing passes, I think it is time, Chris. They've been begging for trivia in the chat. And we got some new folks in here. We got Jacob Bradley in here. We got AER. I'm assuming that's Aaron Espy Racing. Connor's in here. Jeffrey Fisher. Let's do some trivia. Here are the rules. We're giving away a Kevin Harvick diecast tonight, a Rheem diecast from 2023. We're going to do 4 trivia questions. For each question, the first 2 correct answers typed into the chat, not just the letter, give me a part of the actual answer. The first 2 correct answers in the chat will get a point for that trivia question. Max you could have is 4 points tonight. You're trying to get all 4. Whoever has the most at the end of the race takes home that Kevin Harvick diecast. Chris, let's do it. First trivia question of the night. Here we go. Which famous landmark can be seen from the grandstands at World Wide Technology Raceway? What famous landmark can be seen from the grandstands at World Wide Technology Raceway? Is it Busch Stadium, Union Station, Lake Pontchartrain, or the Arch? And I don't know if that's shown up in any of our trackside shots tonight, Chris. We might have had some spoilers early. But the first 2 correct answers for that trivia question, you get a point for that Kevin Harvick diecast trying to win that tonight. We send it to you free of charge just for tuning in tonight. We appreciate all y'all watching at home. Send your friends as well. Let's get this thing going, and let's get as many people in this chat as possible. Couple answers working their way in right now. We give it a couple more moments. Chris, great battles going on all over the track. You're watching Adam Holston continue to try to hold off Alex Pollock in that number 8. But the 92 of Pollock, that Dr. Pepper machine, he is charging hard through these corners, trying to claim that 5th position because we've only got about 15 laps left in stage number 2. Stage points on the line when we hit lap number 70. Couple answers in. Go ahead, try to get your answer in the chat. You don't know if these answers are correct or not, so even though there might be a few in, it doesn't mean that they are going to take home the points. We got Connor in, we got Jeff in, we got Josh, we got Aaron Espy racing in the chat. Let us know the answers to that trivia question, maybe about half a more lap, and we'll go ahead and tally up the score. Right now, lap 57 of 130, it's Janik, Cochran, Barnes, Henson, and Holston. That's your top 5. That battle for 5th has settled down a little bit with Alex Pollock trailing now by about 7 or 8 car lengths from Adam Holston. And Chris, the answer to the question, what famous landmark is visible from the grandstands here at Gateway? It's the St. Louis Arch. I believe on that question, it's going to be Jeff Fisher and Josh Gillen going to get the point. Fisher and Gillen will get the point for question number 1. We'll do question number 2 here in a little bit. If you didn't win that one, you still got a chance. Do not worry. Chris, several drivers riding high tonight. Not as quite as high as the St. Louis Arch, but Evan Janik is way up the track for the past couple of corners. He's your leader. New paint scheme tonight. Not that typical black and blue and soil car. It's a call 811 before you dig paint scheme. I'm not sure the significance of that. I'm not sure if he's an employee of 811 or not, but right now, getting ready to pass Brett Wren and put him a lap down. That 71 has looked hot all night long, led wire to wire at this point, Chris.
Yeah, he has. He's been doing a real nice job right here, and yeah, he's digging a hole and putting the competition in it tonight. He has.
Oh boy.
He has. He has stomped the field all night right here, and Jacob Cochran's kind of maintaining at that 2 seconds right here. I think that part of that is I think Jacob Cochran does have some speed also, but yeah, you got Evan Janik right here in some lap traffic. Evan's just being real careful, trying not to make any mistakes right here, trying to pick his way through here as patiently as he can.
Zach White, next car to go a lap down. Zach having a good run, Chris. Running 13th tonight. Oh, got to be careful with that 71, the leader. Boy, Evan Janik finding himself in huge trouble. Zach White doing his best to get out of the way of the leader. Brett Wren will continue to force the issue in that number 24 on the inside, making Janik. Oh, Brett Wren contact with the leader. The 71 is going to avoid mid-race catastrophe here. Brett Wren, Chris, we talked about this in pre-race, the dangers of running on the outside of a car that's on the inside is going to naturally push up in these tight corners here at this 1 1/4 mile racetrack at Gateway. And right now we almost saw Janik's race come to an end there after a dominating performance here. 2 races in a row so far. Now dealing with Kyman. Boy, everyone just take a step back, take a breath. Everyone's okay after that.
Yeah, and Evan Janik, you mentioned it, putting a lot of trust in that driver on the inside. That's what you do when you try to make a pass on the outside of that. And I'm looking at the Discord. Brett Wren and Evan Janik are in the same chat, so I'm sure that was an interesting moment right there for those drivers. But they avoided catastrophe.
Yep, all's well that ends well. Right now, Chris, Alex Pollock trying to hold off Adam Holston, actually getting by Adam Holston.
Yeah.
Pollock gets that 5th position he had been working on for just a little bit. 7 laps left in this stage. Pollux puts himself into the points position here, exactly where he wants to be to get some points out of stage number 2 here. Just looking through the field, Chris, David Moyer still hanging tight in 7th position. Race of the year going for Moyer so far. His best performance of this Fall Creek Plumbing Series here, coming in race number 13, and not far behind him, another guy having a good run. We talked about Brad Nelson earlier, and Brad T. Nelson, I wonder, do we do the T because it sounds like Craig T. Nelson? You remember, was it the Commish, the TV show? Anyone old enough to remember the Commish TV show? Am I right?
Ellis,
is that correct actor?
Ellis, even I'm not old enough to know anything about that. So.
Oh, my, wow. But you're older than me. How is this even possible?
I know, right? How do you know about it? That's the big question.
I don't know. I feel like my parents maybe watched it when I was really young. I think it was Craig T. Nelson, but Brad T. Nelson having a hell of a run out there tonight. Just looking through his stats, Chris, for the season. He's run only 2 races based on the numbers that I'm seeing, but 8th position average finish once inside the top 10. He's looking to duplicate that performance tonight, and that previous best performance came at Rockingham several weeks ago. So again, Chris, the short track prowess really showing up tonight at Gateway, showcasing a lot of drivers that we haven't always seen running up front over the course of this 13-race season so far. But Brad Nelson, it's a good, clean-looking paint scheme. What do we got going on the side of that? Is that a Jordan paint scheme? My eyes deceiving me.
It does look like he's got 2311 on the hood, got the Jumpman on the side right there, got some Carhartt there as well. Yeah, good looking ride, Ellis. I just want to touch very quickly on what you mentioned before about how this is a little bit like a short track. You're right, it does have short track characteristics. It's not a short track, it's not classified as one because it's over a mile long, but it's kind of like the same as Phoenix and Milwaukee, in the sense that, you have to have some short track prowess and short track technique, I think, to get around here really well.
And all these drivers, we saw a bit of a moment there for Nelson headed out of turn 2. He gathers it back up. But, yeah, all these got best. I hate to jinx it, but right now we're seeing some of the best racing we've seen all season. These drivers just doing a heck of a job up in the broadcast booth. I know I'm proud. I'm sure you're proud. This is, we've been watching these guys develop all season, and it's really paying off and showing up on the track tonight for these MRL drivers. Chris, looking through the field, everything's pretty tame right now, and I think that it might be just a good opportunity for us to step away. We haven't had a moment to pay the bills. Go ahead, Chris.
We are coming up to the end of the stage.
Oh yeah, we got 3. Yeah, we got 3 laps, so we'll get that in on the other end. This is how fast this race is going. These laps are clicking by fast right now. We mentioned stage 2 coming to an end. We'll likely see a set of pit stops that will set us up for the final run of the race. That's going to be in about 2 laps. Janik looking like he's got about a 3-second lead up on the rest of the field, led by Jacob Cochran. Hey, wanted to shout out, they mentioned the paint scheme for Jacob Cochran. That's like a camo paint scheme, it looks like, in that number 84. Chris, I can't see it right now on the racetrack.
I don't either. Oh, there it is right there. I saw the yellow roof as he went by. Yeah.
Oh, boy. Neither one of us have children, but we still got the dad jokes for y'all every single week. Let us know. You got any dad jokes? Let us know what they are in the chat as we get ready to roll through to the end of stage number 2. It's Janik, Cochran, Barnes, Henson, and Pollock. Those are your top 5. It looks like those are pretty well cemented. We watched Cochran get the wall a little bit behind Janik here. Janik taking what is going to be, I believe, once the top 5 cross the line, we're going to see the yellow flag here in just a moment.
And Christian Barnes really putting, I wouldn't say
he's
putting
trying
pressure, but he is gaining a lot of ground on Jacob Cochran here at the end of stage 2.
Absolutely. Janik makes his way into the turn 3 and 4 sector in that bright blue and lime green number 71. The 811 buries the field for the second time tonight for stage number 2 win. Jacob Cochran second. Christian Barnes going to bring it home third. Henson and Pollock are going to likely round out your top 5 when Pollock crosses the line. Race controller will throw the yellow flag. There it is. Stage number 2 in the books, Chris. We're going to take a quick break. We'll set the pit stops up after the break. We'll be right back after we hear from our partners at Whiplash Sim Cams. Back here in Gateway, Stage 2 has ended, and drivers working their way down that access road to pit lane. It's Evan Janik, your race leader, leading them to a crawl down pit road entrance here. Pivotal moment in the race, folks. This could dictate who's up front at the end of the race. There are no more guaranteed stage cautions. Just about 58 laps left. This is going to set us up for one final run. We likely will have one set of green flag pit stops mixed in with that if we don't get a caution, but drivers going to do their best not to slide it into their pit stalls. That 71 is going to have a slight advantage being the last stall on pit road. Everyone comes to the attention of their crew. I didn't see, at least from the top 5, anyone slide it in. No one's backing up yet. So Janik going to get fresh tires along with Cochran, Holston, Nelson, and Henson here. There's Barnes. He comes down pit road a little bit earlier than everybody else. He's almost going to beat Cochran out, but doesn't quite have it. Loses that race by about a foot. It's going to be Janik, Cochran, Barnes, Henson, and Pollock. The top 5 remains relatively unchanged here at the end of pit stops here in stage number 2, Chris. We're going to try to bull in Jacob Cochran here into the booth, see if we can't figure out what's going on in that number 84 car. Hey, Jacob Cochran, it's Ellis and Chris in the Slingshot booth. You got a copy, my friend?
I do. Yes, sir.
Man, Jacob, you've had a good race so far. You've been running in the second position all night long. We've seen some contact with the wall a couple times. You're not the only person out there who's seen it, though. Talk to us about what that car is doing. What are you experiencing out on the racetrack with the handling of that number 84 machine?
Yeah, cold tires are just tough. Really, it takes 3 to 4 laps to really get control on it, and just trying to keep up with the 71. He's lights out tonight, so we're gonna need some more grips, some more horsepower, or something, and hopefully get the back end of that 71.
Well, we're going to let you go ahead. We got half a lap until the restart, man. I appreciate you joining us. We're going to send you back to Race Chat 3. Good luck out there. Say hey to the drivers for us in that room.
I will. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, so you heard it there. Handling is a little bit dicey out here. He thinks that 71's got the speed. He's going to need some luck if he's going to pull out the win tonight. That number 84, Christian Barnes, going to roll the dice, Chris, here and choose to move up a spot on the inside there. We've seen him do that a couple of times. Haven't seen him be able to claim the lead in that Domino's number 27 machine, but he's going to get after it. I think the stakes are just a little bit higher on this restart that we're about to have. Pace car getting ready to peel off. It's going to be the 71 of Janik leading the field for the final stage restart tonight. We get ready to take the green for stage 3. We're live. Here we go, Chris. 71 sending it down into turn number 1. Cochran right behind doing battle with Christian Barnes there. A couple cars slide up the track. Action all over the track through the first corner for the top 15. We're going to see if everyone gets off cleanly. So far, so good. Couple of battles watching Henson trying to work the back bumper of Alex Pollock as they head down in the corner. Pollock all over Barnes right in front of him. Has to lift the throttle. It's going to open the door for that sun drop machine of Henson right behind him.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Christian Barnes putting a lot of pressure on Jacob Cochran as well. Oh, we got trouble in the back.
Big crash on the front straightaway at the line. Looking who's involved, Chris. Brett Wren, Reggie Kime. That might have been Joshua Gillen involved. one yellow car, Chris, that was Derek Jewett also involved. That might be his final quick repair, or the final incident he has in the night, because he already used his quick repair. Looking to see, that was Gino Volanti in the 35 as well, Chris. We're going to see if we can't figure out what happened as we return to the scene of the crime here. Oh, Jewett and Volanti, it looks like.
Yeah, these two right here. Yeah, Derek Jewett's trying to roll the top. You know, he's got new life. He's got that damage fixed right there on that machine. We're actually going to roll it from right here from the overhead perspective. And I'm looking to see maybe if Volanti they kind of meet together. But yeah, Volanti does come up as if, Jewett's not there. Seems like he just did not know that Derek Jewett was to his outside. Jewett comes down. He's going to tag the 91 right there into the inside wall. That's Alan Zukov.
Oh.
See Brett Wren getting involved.
Kime almost got through it.
Yeah, Reggie Kime working his way right through there in the mystery machine with a little bit of contact. We'll see if we can go back a little bit further and play this one more time. We're actually going to ride on board. With Reggie Kime. Oh, this is the wrong camera. Let's look at it from this one right here. And yeah, he sees it happening right there. Gets on the binders. Does a nice job. Oh, he almost got through there, and he kind of ricochets off both cars.
Almost is not enough. I feel like that should be the name of a movie or something. James Bond movie title right there for you. Almost is not enough. Is Derek Jewett and Gio Volanti collide on the front straight of all days. It happened on his birthday, Chris, for the driver of that number 35. Not going to end the way he wants to. Chris, I think it might be time for one more trivia question. And Chris, I'm noticing something. I'm noticing that Evan Janik has fallen back to the 11th position.
Yeah, it looks like he came to pit road. We had some drivers come to pit road.
He thinks he can make it. He thinks he can make it now with, it's going to be 42 laps left, Chris. That is exactly the pit window.
Yep, that's what he's doing. And these other drivers, like, you've got Jacob Cochran, Christian Barnes, Alex Pollock up here. I think what they're counting on is maybe a caution in about 20 laps. And then, if you are, that kind of puts Evan in a little bit of a tough spot. But, if it goes green, Evan's in a great spot. So, yeah, this is a little bit of a gamble right here, going back in the field, maybe getting torn up, with some of the trouble back there. But, I like the call. I like it.
That's a gutsy call for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, and speaking of guts, let's see what kind of guts you got here in trivia. We got question number 2 coming at you before we get ready for this restart in about a lap. Here we go. Remember, first 2 correct answers in the chat. Get the diecast trivia points here. Which iconic St. Louis food item is commonly served to race fans at Gateway? Is it pork steak sandwiches, gooey butter cake, Emo's pizza, or toasted ravioli? What is the answer to that question? What did they serve folks here at Gateway? It's a common St. Louis food. Let us know what you got in the chat. I'll give you a hint. It's not Dr. Pepper Dero. We've been sharing an inside joke about that all night, but first 2 correct answers in the chat will get the diecast trivia points here. If you didn't answer the first question, you still got a chance to win this. Get on in there and try to get that point and see what we can do here.
And Ellis, just want to make...
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just want to make a quick mention right here. We did have some drivers come on the 1 to go right there. Evan Janik is one of them, so looking to top off that fuel and, maybe make it a little bit closer.
Making it a little bit closer is the goal. I think that might be a wise idea. We don't know what's going to happen the last portion of this race. We've seen some great green flag runs. We got a couple answers to that trivia question in. We'll go over the answer here shortly. Make sure you get your answer in. Pace car is going to peel in here. It's going to be the 84 of Cochran on the outside with Pollock for the first time into the second position in that black and red number 92. There's the restart. Cochran mashes the throttle. We're green flag racing once again here on lap number 80 of 130, 50 laps left from Gateway. Pollock sends it down into the corner. Several drivers drive up the track just a little bit. Can everyone hold it tight out of turn 2? The answer is... it looks like it. We make it through turn number 2, the diciest portion of the racetrack tonight. Chris, battles all over the track right now. Gavin Henson trying to get by Barnes. He's going to have to deal with the left side full of Adam Holston right now in that purple number 8 machine.
Oh, we got one car in the wall in the back. I think that's Gino Volante. He's going to keep on going.
Volante gathers it back up. No harm, no foul for the rest of the field. We're still green flag racing. You can see, Chris, different approaches for different drivers as the closing rate through some of these corners has to be throwing a few of these drivers off their game. Holston going to try to make that pass as he shows his nose down below Christian Barnes. Sets sail down into turn number 3. He'll try to slide up in front of that number 27, and he pulls off that crisscross maneuver perfectly for the crossover for the number 8. Chris, would you call that a slide job?
Yeah, a little bit of a slide job right there. Maybe some of the characteristics of a slide job right here, as Henson's actually under attack right here from Brad T. Nelson.
Brad T. Nelson, strong run, pulls it up to the inside. It's going to be the momentum swinging toward Henson as they careen down the backstretch. Down into turn number 3 they go. Chris, that 33 of Nelson has been a factor all day in the top 10. Strongest showing of his 3-race season so far here in the Fall Creek Plumbing Series. That was Hunt loose right behind him off of turn number 4 there. Hunt gathers it up with a show of skill and handiwork as they almost lose control off of turn 4, but they hang on to it. All is quiet up at the front. It's Cochran, Pollock. You got to go back to 3rd position to find the closest action on the track. That's where Holston is doing his best to hold off that black number 27 of Christian Barnes. And Chris, this isn't just a battle on the racetrack. This is 2nd and 3rd place in the championship point standings. We talked about at this point in the season, these drivers are aware who they're racing in the point standings. And right now, as we watch Henson maybe grab a little bit of the wall, you got to imagine.
Oh, we got one car around
Barnes knows. Yep.
Brett Wren sideways off turn 4. He gathered it up, though, and he is still rolling.
Wren gathers it up. We're under green flag conditions still here after a couple of incidents have broken out after this lap number 80 restart. Right now, Chris, battle looks like Janik working his way up through the field, up to 6th position now. He gets by Brad Nelson in that 71. This is one of the cars to follow. If you're just joining us, it's been Janik in the 71 who's led wire to wire up until that last caution where he chose to come down pit road for fuel, thinking that we might go green the rest of the way. Is this the race-winning move? We're going to have to keep an eye. He's loose off of the corner there. Janik had a handful off of turn 2. He's not the only person we've seen struggle with that area of the track tonight, but he has been the fastest car all night long. But it's just with 45 laps, Janik finds himself trapped back in 6th position rather, trying to play catch-up here through a densely packed field of fast race cars. Did Janik maybe underestimate the level of competition he was going to have to get through to get back up to the front?
Well, I think he feels really confident about his speed, and I think it's going to be really hard, based upon the number that we got, for him to actually be able to make it to the end.
Car sideways off of turn number 2. That was Derek Jewett, Chris, once again. He's going to get it gathered up through the grass, and boy, things have gone from bad to worse for Jewett tonight, Chris. He had a lot of speed in practice, really good qualifying effort starting in 6th position. Not the night that he wanted to see inside that number 45 car. We remain under green flag racing conditions. Holston, Chris, great battle going on between Holston in the purple number 8 and Christian Barnes in that 27. This is a battle that just will not die down as they head down into turn 3. You can see the difference in lane choice between these two drivers and how they're approaching that complex of the track.
Yeah, Christian Barnes working that bottom lane right there in turns 3 and 4. Car's looking really good right here, and I think Christian Barnes has been one of the more impressive drivers on the long run all race long, Ellis. We're actually very early in the stint right here, probably the earliest that we've seen Christian show his speed right here. We're going to have to watch him in comparison to these guys up ahead in 1st and 2nd right here over the course of these laps.
Yeah, this is going to be something to monitor for sure. Janik working his way back up to that pack of 3 race cars in front of him. And Chris, just to revisit the trivia that time, the correct answer was steak sandwiches. Despite what we had programmed in our machine, it was steak sandwiches. Getting the points on that, we got Connor and Joshua Gillen. So this makes it Gillen with 2 points, Fisher and Connor with 1 point apiece. Chris, Gillen and Janik almost have trouble there between each other. Sorry, that's Hinson and Janik.
Christian
My
Barnes
apologies.
sideways.
Several cars inside this battle for the top 5 struggling late through the corners. You saw Janik maybe be a little bit caught off guard by how much Hinson, and it happens there again, is lifting off the throttle and rolling it through the corner. He almost had trouble there. Big moment for championship points leader and the car that has led much of the race. Janik, he holds on to it, but boy, that was a moment where things could have gone south real fast. And Janik's had a couple of those tonight, Chris.
He has, and he's finding it a little bit difficult to get around these guys, though he's clearly faster than the drivers in front of him, but it is just so difficult, as we mentioned all night, to complete the pass, with Barnes still trying to get around Holston.
Yeah, Barnes makes that pass. Holston slid in front of him about 10 laps ago. Barnes repays the favor on the exit of turn number 2. Very close racing here between Barnes and that black 27 and Adam Holston in that number 8 machine. This is a side-by-side battle also in the championship point standings. Holston loses a little bit of ground through 3 and 4. About 3 car lengths separate that black number 27 from Adam Holston in the 8. Now Holston's got Janik breathing down his neck, and Holston swings it to the upper part of the racetrack and to try to diamond it down, but he can't because the 71 has filled that space. Janik continues his march through the field. Janik now up to 4th position. Let us know in the chat you think Janik's going to be able to get back up to the front before these final 38 laps have elapsed. Let us know what you think in the chat. 2 trivia questions down, folks. 2 more to go. Hey, I'm willing to do something, Chris. We've done this a couple weeks ago and had some fun with it. If you're in the chat right now, I am willing to give 1 free bonus point away, or half a bonus point away, for every person you can send our way into the broadcast and to get them to let us know that you sent them in the chat. Get them over here. Get them to type in the chat that you sent them our way. We'll give you a half a bonus point for every single person you send our way into the chat. Make sure you get them subscribe as well. That'd be super helpful. We'll be looking out for those in the chat. Right now, we got Connor. These guys, Connor and Joshua and Jeff Fisher, man, and AER, they've been active all night long. We appreciate them. Wonder what they think about whether Janik's going to be able to get back up to the front. Chris, boy, these battles have just been, like I said, we feel like we've been, what do the kids say, Chris? Have you heard these kids say we're glazing these drivers? Have you heard this? Is that a thing?
That's one of the words. That's one of the words that I have prohibited from my classroom.
Well, we've shared some flattering language about these drivers all night, and it continues to show. They're cooking out on the racetrack right now here at Gateway. Right now, Christian Barnes trying to cook on Alex Pollock, trying to get into that 3rd position, now 2nd position on the racetrack. Great little scrimmage going on down into turn number 3. Can Barnes close the deal, or will Alex Pollock fight back on the outside? This is all happening in front of Evan Janik. Does he make the pass? He's going to have to wait. He shows his nose down into turn number 1, Chris. Janik looking to claim the 3rd position. No problem. Gets on the brakes a little bit later than Pollock. He's going to slide up in front of that 92. We've seen that maneuver be very, very effective tonight. Janik putting it to use here on lap number 96. Bradley Lines in the chat. I think Connor sent someone over here, Chris. I think Connor sent someone. Connor trying to get that half a point. We're going to mark him down for half a point on that, assuming that Bradley Lines is related. Bradley, make sure you hit that subscribe button, too. We would greatly appreciate it. And, man, I appreciate the great racing we're seeing right now. One car, I heard a little bit of contact in the wall. Looking through the field. You know, Chris, he's had a quiet night. Yeah, go ahead. Oh,
yeah, we got
Joshua Gillen. Brianna Fondren in here. We'll give Gillen another half a point. Brianna, make sure you subscribe, too. We appreciate you joining in. We hope you're having a great night and enjoying watching Joshua have a pretty good run. Josh sitting inside the top 10. Let's put the camera on Josh for just as... Oh, well, I say that. We got some good battles. I'd hate to abandon this number 39, Hinson, doing battle with the 8 of Adam Holston as they head down the front straightaway. Sundrop Machine working on that purple number 8. Hinson, Chris, he's shown speed all night. We talked about he's really excelled and stood out on the short track-like tracks over the course of the season. You see him have to lift the throttle. That's the real trouble when you're making that move on the inside. If you can't slide up in front of them, that outside line's probably going to win the day every single day.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, especially here where you can just get that momentum. This is such a racy track, you know, where you can just use that top lane on both ends to really hold a guy off. Yeah, it's definitely can be very frustrating if you're the driver who is giving chase. But it also makes it very fun to watch as a commentator and as a spectator.
Incredibly fun to watch, and I think this is a blast as we ride right in front of Holson and Henson. That's a mouthful to say right there, but battle going on for the 5th position. It's right now Holson's, Henson trying to get it, and Chris, Evan Janik trying to make a pass right in front of these guys for the 2nd position. Christian Barnes, they're both trying to chase down Jacob Cochran right now, but Evan Janik's been held up by this number 27 as he climbs through the field after restarting 11th. It gets a little bit tougher as we watch him get loose. Gets a little tougher to pass these cars the higher you go in the running order, Chris.
Yeah, and that's just a driver right there who's trying to get on that throttle, trying to rotate through the center right there, and that is just classic gateway off of turn 2 as you saw him kind of have to counter steer right there as the car got a little bit free. Didn't hear any shifting in 1 and 2 the lap before. Let's listen this time, Ellis. Let's see if we hear any shifting. Oh yeah, he's shifting all right. Downshifted to 3rd gear. You'll hear it red line right here. Good 4th gear.
And Chris, one thing I think we mentioned a little bit earlier, 6 laps fresher tires for Evan Janik. I do think that as we watch things run down here, especially if many of these drivers can make it, that's a huge advantage for Janik as he slides through turn number 3 there. Still held up behind Barnes as we watch trailing just a little bit, headed down into turn 1. Chris, one thing I want to mention, and you're our technical guy here, you're our Larry Mack in the booth. A lot of these fans, as they've watched at home, have probably seen some flames coming out of the right side of those cars through the exhaust. What's that all about? Why is that something we're seeing when they head down to these corners as we watch it happen again?
So whenever you see the flames coming out of the exhaust right there, that signifies that the driver is either off the throttle, like, you know, cracking the throttle, easing into the throttle, or that they are possibly even shifting gears, downshifting or upshifting these cars around here. So in the case right there on corner entry, that's definitely the driver's lifting, and you kind of see it mid-corner also when they sort of ease back into it. So yeah, that just signifies on throttle, off throttle, and you know, the shifting of gears.
Good explanation there. Always like to give a little bit of the science to the fans at home as we watch Evan Janik still laying chase to that number 27 of Christian Barnes. And Chris, one thing I'm noticing, they're cutting into Jacob Cochran's lead just a little bit. Now they're working on Derek Jewett, who's not going to be an easy car to pass. He's had his struggles tonight, but he's had a fast race car underneath him tonight. Wiggles a little bit off the corner. Barnes and Janik going to have to make their way by here down through the backstretch into turn number 3. But these guys are closing up, and especially as they get by that 45, that lead has shrunk by about 0.2 of a second over the last lap or 2. So I think that is going to be something to keep an eye on here. And we are what we think about 9 laps away, Chris, and there are 25 laps left in this race. If our numbers are correct, these drivers are going to need to pit in around 8 to 9 laps as we watch the battle box.
Yeah, Barnes got sideways.
It's going to be, it's going to be close. I don't know if we're going to have to worry about that because pit strategy is going to throw a monkey wrench in this whole conversation. Oh boy, Chris, I'm looking in the chat right now. They're after this Kevin Harvick diecast.
I see it. Yeah.
Jeff getting some people in there as well. We'll add another half point to Jeff Fisher. I might have to do some calculating. My math might be a little bit off, but
yeah, Jeff Fisher's
it's gonna.
Jaden Broughton and RNT's hangout.
Yeah, and please make sure that if y'all haven't subscribed, you absolutely hit the subscribe button. Chris, we got some more live racing. We got 3 races a week headed to Slingshot Racing Media and our YouTube channel. We've got Monday night ARCA racing from the Spark Series, or the Spark Racing League. We've got Wednesday night Truck Series from Spark Racing League. I'm super excited about both of those new broadcasts that we're going to have. And Chris, we'll be on the track on Wednesday night. So these fans, if you're used to hearing us in the booth on Thursdays, you can see just how bad I am on the track on Wednesday nights in that Slingshot Racing Media Ford F-150 truck. Looking forward to that Daytona race next week, Chris.
And Ellis, if you watched last night in the preseason clash at Charlotte for the Spark Truck Series, you saw one heck of a finish coming to the line. So, yeah, next week is going to be great, kicking off the Sparks Truck Series season and the Spark ARCA Series on Monday nights with their clash next Monday night as well. Should be a lot of fun as Alex Pollock hits pit road.
Alex Pollock in the 92, first car to take the bait and make that hard left-hand turn down onto the turn 3 access road. He's halfway down in the slow crawl down pit road. He's going to be what we believe will be the first of several drivers. Chris, is Pollock going to gain an advantage here if we pin this thing out green flag racing all the way by coming a little bit earlier and getting fresh Goodyears?
He's going to get an advantage right here, right now, as, you know, it's like maybe some of these drivers kind of puts the pressure on them where they have to decide if they're going to make a pit stop. You know, if I'm Evan Janik right here, just half a second behind Christian Barnes, you know, and if Evan can't make it to the end, I'm going to try to pit maybe before Barnes and maybe try to leapfrog him.
I think that is definitely a strategy that 71 ought be considering. Here come Holston and Henson. Nose to tail down pit road. They've been together on track all night long. That's not going to change here. Henson's the first one to peel off to the attention of his pit crew. Holston's going to bring it there in that purple machine. That Camaro right in front of Henson. Tires go up. And Chris, both leaders still out on the track. All three leaders, I should say. Cochran, Barnes, and Janik. And this is, I think, man, I don't know what to expect here. This is a wild one that is brewing here in St. Louis. Lights are on, sun is down, and boy, things are going to get crazy here in the final 20 laps. If you're just tuning in, here's where we stand. Evan Janik currently running in third place in that number 71, has led 80% or more of this race. He made the choice on the last caution to come down pit road and get fuel, thinking that we might have a green flag run the rest of the way, watching a couple cars get into the wall. If it pans out that way, he's going to be sitting pretty because he can probably make it on fuel, we believe. We think he might be the only car to be able to do that, but it is going to be close. And Chris, I'm looking at the numbers now. I'm not sure if even Janik can do it. Am I mistaken about that?
He's coming to pit
there
road.
There he is. There's our answer. Janik not going to have the advantage we thought he might. He's going to pit from third. Barnes is going to stay out. Cochran's going to stay out. Those two cars will take over first and second position. Janik now makes the slow crawl down pit road. Do you try to take two tires here? Does this become a fuel-timed pit stop to try to save as much time as possible, or you got to get tires?
Well, I'm just going back right here. Alex Pollock looks like he took 4 tires. Gavin Henson took 4 tires. I think that you have to take 4. Yeah, we're going to see right. Yeah, we'll see if Janik.
Yeah, Holston took 4. I think most of these guys did take 4. So obviously, you know, Janik doesn't have access to that information that we do necessarily. But he'd probably make a pretty good guess as he comes off of pit road on that access road. Barnes will get by him, so he's going to be another lap down at this point.
Well, yeah.
Now Barnes is going to have to come down pit road as well as Cochran. So it's not as bad as it looks. If you're a Janik fan right now, expect to see here comes Barnes comes down pit road. Cochran stays out, so number 27 comes down pit road. If you're Cochran, are you hoping that this thing... Christian Barnes into the wall in turn number 3 and 4. We talked about a tricky pit road entrance, Chris.
Yeah.
Barnes falls victim to that tight corner.
I don't think it's too bad. I don't know if he was trying to carry a lot of speed, a lot of momentum through there, but it doesn't look too bad right here. We're going to have to watch and see how this all shakes out, because if you'll remember... Christian Barnes, he took his fast repair right there to fix the damage. Barnes was ahead of Janik, but Janik coming to pit road a lap or 2 before Barnes. See if he can use that speed on those fresh tires to possibly be able to leapfrog him.
Yep, and here we go. We're going to see where Janik is. And I think Janik is easily going to beat him off. And whoa, that was a big difference. I think it's going to be a big difference. It's a shorter radius down the access lane. But yeah, Chris, that's about 15 car lengths. That's roughly, I'm looking at the distance right now, Janik all the way back. My timing hasn't fully updated yet, but that is going to be a big difference. Janik definitely. Oh, Brett Wren and Barnes. That might have been Barnes back there that's going to have trouble. It is Brett Wren and Barnes struggle through turns 3 and 4. Brett Wren having a rough night on the track. Barnes gets involved in that one. We're still going to be green flag racing, Chris, but I just wonder if Barnes, maybe in the midst of realizing what had happened there with Janik getting by, might have taken his eye off the prize for a moment. We're going to have to revisit the scene of the crime and see exactly what happened when we look at the replay here.
Yeah, it looks like that's exactly what happened. It was like Christian Barnes just had that huge speed and huge, difference in speed right there. Oh, as Barnes and Holston get together, Barnes is going to go around.
Will we see a caution? Barnes sideways on the track. He's down on the access road. I think race control is going to keep us under green flag conditions. He's got to be careful not to pull up on the track in front of race cars. These guys got to be careful, especially as he tries to get those rear tires spinning. Once again, Barnes' night goes from bad to worse. What had been a third-place race car all night long finds itself back in the 9th position after a series of miscues for the driver in that number 27 machine. 2 laps in a row. Tough luck for Christian Barnes. 3rd place in championship point standings right now, Chris.
Yeah, it just looks like Holston slid up a little bit. They were running real tight together, and he tried to fight it. That thing went around, and then it hooks back to the right here when he stabs the throttle. I'm going to give kudos to the race controller right here for keeping this thing green, and all night, really, for keeping things green. Because this can turn into a caution fest very, very quickly here. I know it's bad luck for Christian Barnes, but I think that's a great call from race control.
I think you're absolutely right. Hey, in the chat, Chris, we got Joshua Gillen talking trash about us driving Fords in the truck series. I don't appreciate that. I will proudly drive my Ford. I don't own a Ford in real life, but that's what Chris wants to drive, so I oblige. We're a team, so Chris is a Ford man, even though he has a Chevrolet truck.
Well, I drive a Chevrolet truck, but I don't really care for Team Chevy NASCAR that much, because of, race manipulation, so.
Nah, they're all manipulating the race these days. Also, Chris, we got a friend. We got Chad Fox OF in the chat. I think you might know who that is. I'll let you know later on if you don't remember. I don't want to dox him or anything in the chat here, but we appreciate him joining in. Hope everything is well. He responded to one of our Instagram posts the other day where we threw it back to NASCAR Thunder 2004. POV, you get home from after school and you launch the PS2 and get NASCAR Thunder 2004 going on. He said I was getting bullied at that point in my life. And I think if we're in middle school, a lot of us probably fell into that lot. Hey, right now, Joshua Gillen, I know we got some Gillen fans in the chat right now. He is your leader, but he's going to be coming down pit road any moment here at Evan Janik blast by to reclaim the lead here on lap 120 of 130. Janik reclaims the lead after about 40 laps of running as far back as 11th position. Impressive climb back through the field. Impressive run for Joshua Gillen to stretch this fuel tank and these tires as long as he has. Good run going for that number 10 car. Second place, he'll come to the attention of his pit crew in just a couple of laps, I would imagine. But Chris, Alex Pollock, second closest car right now. He's closing the gap. He's not too far back. He's about 3.5 seconds back, and that time by, he was running right with Evan Janik. So that car in 3rd place, which will eventually be 2nd when this pit cycle goes all the way through, not too far off the pace. And Cochran even further, and Cochran going a little bit faster as well. So I think this race is yet to be settled. There's plenty of questions left to be answered here in the final 9 laps or so.
Yeah, let's reset this thing. Let's sort of set the stage and let the viewers know kind of how all this is shaken out right here. As Jacob Cochran is going to complete this pass. I think he's going to complete it fairly easily with that fresh tire advantage. 84 machine goes to the bottom right here trying to complete the pass. With Cochran staying out as long as he did, and Evan Janik and Alex Pollock pitting earlier, Jacob Cochran has lost that track position. He had a pretty commanding lead, Ellis. He had a pretty big lead, but he stayed out. I think he was maybe thinking there was going to be a caution possibly. And I think that maybe he's going to look back and think that maybe he stayed out just a little bit too long. And, Evan Janik now did a great job on and off pit road as Cochran hits the wall hard off of turn 4.
Cochran into the wall off of turn 4 here. Lap 123 of 130, just 7 laps left. Cochran giving everything he's got left in the tank of that camouflage number 84, struggling with handling, trying to get back up to Evan Janik, who he was leading before that set of green flag pit stops began just about 10 laps ago, or 15 laps ago, I should say. Evan Janik out front, Jacob Cochran second, Alex Pollock third. Chris, Brad T. Nelson, great performance for driver number 33 in that 4th position right now, with Adam Holson sitting in 5th right behind them. You can see the purple car in the distance. Holson's got Gavin Henson a little bit further back, but that top 5, great runs for every single one of those drivers. Brad Nelson, special shout out. Season best run going for the driver of that number 33. Holson as well, having a good run. And man, it's just, this race has been, if you're Evan Janik, it's been a more difficult race than we saw for him a couple of weeks ago at Road America, Chris. He dominated that race 2 weeks ago before our third of the way through the season break, and he dominated much of the race early tonight, but found himself back in 11th after being one of the only cars to come down pit road, and he had to work for this one tonight. I don't think anyone's going to debate that Janik had to work his way through some difficulty. And so, Brad Nelson in the wall a couple seconds ago as well. He had to work his way through some adversity tonight. And not that we ever doubted that he had the ability to get back to first, but show a major skill. But he's coming back on the back bumper of some lap cars, Chris. And I'm looking at our numbers. Jacob Cochran has closed the distance on Evan Janik, about 2.9 seconds. And we watch, Chris, 10 laps. We have about 5 laps left. So at that rate, Cochran's going to have to really change it, but Chris, but right now, Caleb Hunt giving the 71 of Janik a handful here. This is going to play right into the hands of Cochran. Janik's going to swing it to the left to try to get by Caleb Hunt. Will Hunt force the issue, or will he let Janik down to the inside? Hunt rallies to the outside. Can he hold up that 71? And I'm not sure how, if this is a teammate, are the 78 and the 84 teammates, out of curiosity? Do you know?
I'm not sure.
You're going to let him by.
Yeah, I'm doing a quick look through the Discord, but I'm not sure about that.
Regardless, it's going to hold up Janik just a little bit. It gave the 84 of Cochran about 0.5 of a second. Now Cochran's going to have to get through those same lap cars, so he's going to face the same tribulations that the 71 of Janik did, but he makes his first pass on one of those lap cars. He's going to be eager to get through. He hasn't lost any more time, but Chris, we're running out of time here. We got 3 laps left. Now 2.5 laps left for Evan Janik, who, man, has just had an amazing season. Janik finished first at Road America, picked up the win. A week before that, 4th at Rockingham, 8th at Texas before that. And it's just been a great season for Janik. He's, I believe, looking through my stats, he's got 2 wins on the season. Tonight, he's looking for win number 3. He's just about a lap and a half away from that. But Cochran has cut into that lead even more. Cochran now almost just 2 seconds back. It's going to take a miracle, though, if Cochran's going to catch up. Janik really has to hold a pretty wheel here in the final lap and a half. He's got the 01 of Steve Gill he's going to have to get through. Cochran trying to clear lap cars as well as we speak, and you can see it on the screen there. Cochran's faster, but he just doesn't have time on his side. White flag is waving for Evan Janik as he rolls through turns 1 and 2. He's got Gill, he's got Jewett, he's got to deal with. Cochran, meanwhile, stalled out behind the 35 of Gino Volante. Janik in the 811 trying to dig his way down the backstretch into turns 3 and 4 for the final time tonight. He's got 2 wins this season. He's looking to claim number 3. Evan Janik, it's a different paint scheme, but it's the same story. 2 races in a row. Janik claims win number 3 tonight from Gateway. Jacob Cochran second. Alex Pollock going to bring home a great third-place finish in that number 92. We'll hear from those top three here momentarily. We've got some other business to finish up first, Chris. Great race. Boy, you feel for Jacob Cochran. I feel like if he had maybe 5-6 laps left in this race, he might have had something for that number 71. And we see Alex Pollock give the 71 a bit of a shot there on the rear end as we watch the fireworks go off through turns 3 and 4 at Gateway. There were some fireworks on the track. Brett Wren turns to 71. That might have been a bit of a, just a congratulatory bit of a nudge. And you're right. We do owe some trivia. Connor asking about the trivia. We're going to do one more question tonight, Chris. You good with one more question for our fans at home? Yeah, and I believe we've updated the leaderboard. Chris, I want to go to question number 3 because I love question number 4. We're going to use our final question as our fourth question as our final question tonight. Okay. Chris, I'm looking for the what legendary figure question. If you're in the chat, you can see the standings for Trivia Diecast. As they stand, I've got Fisher at 2, Gillen at 2.5, and Lyons at 1.5. All right, this is for all the marbles. First 2 correct answers in the chat will receive 1 trivia point to potentially propel them to win that Kevin Harvick diecast. Here we go. What legendary figure once raced motorcycles in the nearby Fairgrounds Park before switching to NASCAR? Was it Mark Martin? Was it Dale Earnhardt Sr.? Was it Richard Petty? Or was it Ken Schrader? While we work on getting these drivers queued up into the broadcast booth for these post-race interviews we're going to hear from in a moment, we'll let you get your best answers into the chat. First 2 correct answers, they're going to get the trivia points here. We'll go ahead and let you answer those questions. Give me just a second to get everyone pulled into the Discord. We got some answers coming in. We got some Richard Petty. This is a great show. Chris, do you know the answer to this question?
I actually don't know this one.
No? Well, we're all going to learn something. We're all going to learn something tonight. Before we reveal that answer, how about we go ahead and learn a little bit of something from Alex Pollock and see what he was dealing with out on the track tonight. We're going to bring him into the broadcast booth. Hey, Alex Pollock of the number 92. It's Ellis and Chris up in the Slingshot booth. You got a copy, my friend.
Yes, sir. How you doing, Ellis and Chris?
Oh, man, we are doing great. That was great. I think that was my favorite race of the 13-race season so far. Was it as fun on the track as it seemed to watch from the stands and on YouTube?
Yeah, it was real fun. It was tough to pass, I will say. You had to set things up, and if you got stuck behind someone that was just a little bit faster than you, and you just couldn't make any moves. I mean, it was tough, but it was definitely a fun race.
Well, man, what was your biggest struggle like that? The biggest struggle out on the racetrack tonight for you? I feel like we saw a lot of guys struggling on the exit of turn number 2, and also getting into the wall off the exit of turn number 4. Yeah,
I mean, if you're throttle control, if you're in the throttle too quick, you're gonna either spin or your back's gonna kick out and hit the wall. Or so that was tough. It was. I don't know what Jacob and Evan were doing. I thought I was running a good line, and I was trying to match their lines, and they're just turning it right down in the middle of the turn. I couldn't figure that out. So that's why they finished 1, 2, and I finished 3.
Man, you did a good job in that Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar car tonight. Before we let you go celebrate that podium finish, you got any shout-outs for the folks at home?
Yep, shout out to the 5-star racing team, finishing 1, 3, 4. So great finish for us. Shout out 9222 Designs, my design team. We sponsored the race, and we sponsored the truck series here in Mystic Racing League. Shout out to all the admins that put everything on, and shout out to you guys for giving us a great broadcast.
Hey, man, we appreciate you. Go celebrate that podium finish, man. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys. You too. See you next week.
All right, so that was Alex Pollock. Now, I think, Chris, before we hear from Jacob Cochran, we should go ahead and give away the trivia answer here. We had several people answer the trivia, Chris, but here's the unfortunate news.
Nobody got it right?
No one.
I think I know who it is now.
Right. Who do you think it is?
I take it back. I don't know who it is. I'm thinking people who were in North Carolina. I'm going to guess Ken Schrader because I know he's a motorcycle rider.
It is absolutely Ken Schrader, and he's from Fenton, Missouri, so that makes sense, nearby St. Louis. Ken Schrader raced motorcycles at the nearby Fairgrounds racetrack before he switched over to NASCAR. So fun fact for all y'all watching at home, and that does mean that Jeffrey Fisher, who also brought in a handful of fans tonight to the chat, is the winner of that diecast tonight. Jeffrey Fisher is going to be, oh, no, timeout. I actually got to check. Sorry, Jeff. Hold on. I got to confirm. Let's see. Looking through my chat real quick just to make sure I'm not missing anything. Ooh, they got it in there right then. Joshua Gillen, I take it back. Josh Gillen, even though Jeffrey Fisher got those 2 extra folks in and got those bonus points for that, Josh Gillen is going to win it tonight after getting all 3 trivia questions correct. He also brought in an extra fan. So, Josh, you guys tonight. Jeff, we appreciate you tuning in. Don't worry, there's going to be plenty of more diecast giveaways for you over the course of the season and everyone else as well. So we hope to see you here next week. We appreciate you sending some folks our way very much. Thank you for that. Now we're going to pull in Jacob Cochran. Chris, I'll let you take it away.
Jacob Cochran, our second place finisher tonight. This is the Slingshot booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Man, Jacob, we saw you get the lead right there on that pit stop from Evan Janik, and you took control of the race. You were looking really, really good out there in front in that number 84 machine, and then it seemed on that cycle of pit stops that you lost some ground right there to Evan Janik. Talk to us about that decision-making that was going on there at the end, and would you do anything different if you could go back?
Yeah, I mean, really what it was is my strategy kind of changed mid-run. I was originally going to take 4 tires, fuel, got, probably like the rest of them did. And then as I was watching my fuel, I was like, well, I could maybe try to stretch it and, try to just stop for gas only and kind of beat him out that way. And when Evan came and pitted and, he kind of cut it early, and I knew really my hands were tied at that point. And then when he unlapped himself, I was like, yeah, we've got to do something different. So, yeah, I mean, I probably would have came in and just, tried to maintain the lead that I had. I was just trying to do something a little different, but maybe let him pit a lap or a lap before and then come in after and just try to maintain. But, I mean, overall, I mean, it still wasn't a bad night. Honestly, he had the fastest car the whole race, and it wasn't a secret. So, really just happy with second.
Well, you definitely did a great job all night. Definitely had great speed from the green flag to the checkered flag. It seemed like conditions were kind of tough off a turn, too. Were you experiencing any loose condition off that corner, too?
Yeah, 2 and really 4 as well. I mean, 2 would get tight until it got loose. Turn 4, you were just trying to carry as much speed as you can, and if you wasn't careful, it would come around with you. And so you just really had to manage the throttle and maintain the throttle and find that perfect line. But it was definitely tough, especially on new tires when you get cold tires. I mean, it was a handful for 3 or 4 laps.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you out on the track next time that we get on the track at Sonoma. Before we let you go celebrate this great finish tonight, you got any shout-outs?
Yeah, just want to shout out everybody at AER and SB Racing, especially Robbie. He helped me a lot in the kind of in the spotting in tonight. So just those guys, SRM, all you guys in the broadcast do a really good job. And then Mystic for putting on the league and doing a great job with that.
Well, we really appreciate it. You did a great job tonight, too. Congratulations on a great second place finish tonight, Jacob Cochran.
Thank you all. Y'all have a good night.
You too.
All right, so you heard from Jacob Cochran. Now it's time to bring the winner into victory lane. Evan Janik, it's Ellis and Chris up in the Slingshot booth. You're the winner tonight. You got a copy.
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, man, well, this has become an old hat for us talking to you in victory lane at the end of these races. Third win on the season. Before we talk about what that does for your championship hopes and what next week at Sonoma looks like, I want to talk about a couple incidents that happened out on the racetrack. You had a couple close calls even before you chose to pit and went back to 11th. Talk about one in particular, I think Brett Wren maybe, and you in the same chat. What happened between you guys there?
I don't really remember what happened between me and Brett, but I think I was trying to not lap him as long as I could if it was at the end of a stage. But Jacob got too close, so ended up getting around him and trying to keep him as close to me as I could so he could get the free pass, trying to help each other out.
So when you made that choice to go back down pit lane, were you thinking that you might try to make it to the end if it were to go green on that pit stop alone, or were you planning on pitting all along in that final stretch? Evan Janik, you got a copy? No, we might have lost the winner. Evan, you there?
I got you now.
Okay, sorry about that. I was going to ask you, I don't know if you caught that last question, but when you made that pit stop under caution and pushed yourself back in 11th position, did you think you might try to make it the entire way on that tank of fuel, or had you planned on making that final pit stop all along?
No, I planned on making that final pit stop all along. I was really just topping off just to make it a shorter pit stop as I could, even though we were taking 4 tires. So it was just any little thing to help get an advantage to dig me out of the hole that was created.
Well, man, you did. You had the fastest pit stop on that final cycle. I do think that Jacob Cochran came in and got 2 tires, but I think we saw, we saw you have the advantage there on the final run. How nervous were you trying to fight your way through traffic? I think that was the most tense portion of the race, trying to go from 11th all the way back up to the top position. How nervous were you, and were there moments where you thought maybe you had made the wrong decision?
No, well, it wasn't really a decision. Under caution, I don't know if you guys saw it, but my screen went black. Same thing that happened at Road America. So I kept turning left, hit the inside wall, and junked my car. So I had to pit because I had required repairs. So
well, that makes a lot of sense now. We did not catch that from our vantage point of the booth.
Well, I'm glad that didn't get caught on TV, but now you know. It unfortunately was not a mistake that I made. It was just an unfortunate circumstance with technology. But just tried to do everything I could to help dig me out.
Well, man, you just fought. You fought all night long. And you're going to be fighting at the road course next week. I think last time we visited road course 2 weeks ago up in Elkhart, Wisconsin, you had a good run. You dominated the field for the win. We're headed to the other side of the country over to Sonoma next week. How bullish are you about your chances to win in Sonoma? I think we might be having – oh, go ahead, Evan. Sorry.
It depends on who shows up. A lot of contenders were out today.
Who are you most nervous about?
The 46 Mefford. I know that if he doesn't make that mistake in North America, it'd be a lot closer. So, got to practice. I'm sure we'll have a practice with 5-Star Racing, and just got to prepare and just be ready for anything.
Man, anything and everything could happen next week at Sonoma. Great racetrack. We're looking to a great race next week from the road course in Southern California. Tonight, though, man, heck of a race. Congratulations on win number 3 of the season. It feels like you've had more wins than just 3, but you're just getting into that hot streak right now. So I think we'll be talking to you plenty over the course of the season. Before we let you go celebrate that victory, do you have any shout-outs for the folks at home?
Oh, yeah. Thank you to Fall Creek Plumbing for sponsoring this series. Thank you to 9222 Designs for making all of my paints. And I have a new paint today, so 811 wants to remind everybody that when you're digging, make sure to call them. It's a free service. They will mark out your property before you dig and hit any expensive lines that will be on you. So make sure to call 811. And thank you to Super Oil Pros for also sponsoring this, and by Street Stock in Real Life.
Awesome, man. Well, that is Evan Janik. Congratulations on win number 3 tonight. We'll talk to you next week in Sonoma.
I would make it a plan.
All right, Chris, man, this race, I felt like we built it up in pre-race, and boy, I'm sure glad it absolutely delivered everything we thought it would. Lots of green flag racing, lots of great passing on the racetrack. And let's take a look at the final results of this race. Take a look. Evan Janik, Jacob Cochran, Alex Pock. We heard from them. Adam Holston gets back in the groove with a fourth-place finish tonight. Gavin Henson and Brad T. Nelson, man, finally just showing out on these types of technical tracks that race like short tracks. I know it's 1.25 miles here at Gateway, but those two drivers really shine tonight in 5th and 6th. Christian Barnes, Chris, we saw him have the second best car of the race, second or third best car most of the night, and then just after that final pit cycle, things went south almost immediately. Tough luck for the 27 of Barnes, but he fights back for 7th. Stephen Gill, best finish of the season, I believe, for Stephen Gill in 8th position. Just gritted it out tonight and is rewarded for that. Caleb Hunt also, after starting deeper in the field tonight, I believe Hunt started off in 16th position. He gained 7 positions. By the way, Gill gained 9 positions from where he started. Hard charger of the night for Gill. Joshua Gillen, I know we had some Gillen fans in the chat. He also won the trivia. He is 10th tonight, Chris.
Yeah, great result for Joshua Gillen, participating in the trivia, and a great result on the track tonight. Derek
Making
Jewett,
it all more impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. Derek Jewett going to finish in the 11th spot. I think Derek is one that will look back at this race and wonder what if, because I think he had definitely more speed than that. Brett Wren in the 12th spot. We saw him have some close calls on the track tonight. Zach White in the 13th position. Reggie Kime going to finish 14th. Gino Volante going to persevere and bring home a 15th place finish, finishing 4 laps down. And these drivers from Alan Zukov on back, I think they wound up off the track. And also with some repairs. Zukov finishing 16th, David Moyer in the 17th spot, Jared Knopsider in 18th, Douglas Wasaki in 19th, and Brandon Willard going to round out the field in the 20th spot.
Absolutely. My mind, best race of the season, Chris. It was a blast to watch up from the booth tonight. Hopefully everyone at home enjoyed it. I think we're going to have just as great of a time next week from Sonoma. We're going to see some twists and turns at that road course in Southern California. I think we're going to see Janik shine once again, but he mentioned it. Chris Medford, another name, a part-timer that very well could be there next week and, make it a good race. We got some other road course ringers in here that I think Alex Pollock, one of those drivers, maybe I'm looking to see up at the front next week once again as well. So that's going to be a great race. And Chris, talking about races, we got 3 nights of racing a week starting next week. We've got the ARCA Spark Series running on Monday nights. I believe that series is going to be called by Johnny Rapp and Justin Wilson in the booth. You can catch those races, I believe, at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time each Monday night for the next couple of months. Tune in for that. On Wednesday nights, the Spark Truck Series will be racing, also starting next week at 8:30 Eastern Time. Chris, am I right on that time?
I believe you are right, yeah.
And we will have a brand new broadcast booth that I'm super pumped about. Awesome talent coming to Slingshot Racing Media during that Spark Truck Series starting next Wednesday. And then we'll continue with our amazing run here with Mystic Racing League on Thursday night. So 3 nights of racing. Make sure you have subscribed to the channel for absolutely free to make sure you get notified when those races go live and you don't miss a minute of the action. Chris, I think that's a great way to send it out tonight. We're headed to make some right turns in Sonoma in Southern California next week. Tonight, Evan Janik takes the top spot at Gateway and climbs to the top of the field for win number 3. We're going to catch you next week from Southern California and Sonoma. So long from St. Louis for Slingshot Racing Media and Mystic Racing League. It's Ellis Thomas and Chris Smith. So long, farewell, have a great night and a great week, everyone. We'll see you next time.